Well, that was ugly and certainly not the result Bengals fans were hoping for. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Erpine of allbengals.com. Welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk, where here at AT&T Stadium, the Bengals had a chance to move into a four-way tie for first place in the AFC North, and instead they fall to the Cowboys 20-17, drop to 0-2 on the season, and some guy named Cooper Rush leads the Cowboys to victory. It's surprising, for sure, but let's be quite honest right now. The Bengals are not a good football team. They are not playing at the standard that they were at the end of last season, and a lot of those lulls that they had in 2021, that's how they started the 2022 campaign. This offense isn't explosive. It doesn't feel dynamic. Everything feels tough. And even when they went on a 19-play, 78-yard drive to tie the game in this end zone right here, when T. Higgins caught the only touchdown of the game for the Bengals, and Tyler Boyd had the two-point conversion. Even when that happened, it felt like a struggle. It felt like a grinded-out type of game, and yet they were this close again after the second straight week of being down 17-3 at halftime to winning, but they lose because they couldn't put back-to-back drives together, and the Cowboys did just enough. Brett Maher kicking a 50-yarder at the gun to win 20-17. So two one-score losses, two games that went down to the wire, and I know a lot of people are going to talk about the coaching, and I want to get to that. But first I want to talk about the sacks. 6 more sacks, 9 quarterback hits. Look, Micah Parsons is really good, and this Cowboys pass rush is good, and that was the scary part. Don't let him and them wreck the game. And they didn't wreck it with turnovers, but they wrecked the offense. They did. This Bengals offense couldn't function. Their longest play was 19 yards. They couldn't push the ball downfield. Burrow was getting hit. Some of their biggest plays in the first half were Burrow runs, which is never a good sign. The run game didn't really get going. It was better in the second half than the first half. But overall, this team, even in the second half when they did score and they did slowly put it together, it wasn't enough. And offensively is where it starts. And I know people are frustrated with Zach Taylor's play calling. He was probably as frustrated as I've seen him post-game, and he was frustrated about the kick that hit the scoreboard that was called back, or that wasn't called back. He said it hit the scoreboard. The replay review said it didn't. I honestly have to go back and watch it again. I haven't had time. Just came out of the interview room where we'll have Jamar Chase's reaction, Lel Collins, also got Tyler Boyd, also have Sam Hubbard, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, of course. So you're going to get all of that right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Win, lose, draw, we bring you the best Bengals coverage here on YouTube. But frustration. I think Burrow was clearly frustrated throughout this game. It was a frustrating performance. This offense, honestly, especially this start, it kind of reminds me of the 06 Bengals. And the whole year you're wondering, you're like, man, they have the talent. Are they? They had just made that run in 05 and had a really fun season. In 06, they were just fighting, scratching, clawing, and everything was difficult. Everything was challenging. And and they went on to miss the playoffs, and we know how that year ended. But the Bengals have had years like that where it's not in sync, and right now it's not in sync, and it needs to get in sync in a hurry. It does. And this defense, as bad as they were on those first 2 drives, and they were bad, 12 plays, 75 yards, Cooper Rush slicing and dicing his way downfield to score in that end zone down there. Then 6 more plays. Tony Pollard, a 50-yard run, and then a touchdown run. 6 plays, 75 yards. Back-to-back, you look up, it's 14-3, and it's like, what the hell is going on? I understand. People in the press box were saying the same thing. That's not what's supposed to happen. And yet, the defense tightened up then. 20 points, you take that. Now, is it too much to this offense in the Cowboys that really isn't that dynamic? I think so. I had him at 17, and I was thinking holding him under 20, but they held him scoreless in the second half up until that final field goal. And this offense, I said it before the season, if this team is going to vault itself into this contending year in, year out type of team, it's going to be because the offense is firing on all cylinders. It's because this offense is going to be hitting big plays and moving the ball up and down the field, because that's what the elite teams do. That's what the elite teams are, right? The Bills and the Chiefs. Those are the standard right now in the AFC. That's what everyone would say. Well, they can move the ball up and down the field. They can move, and I don't know what's going to happen with the Bills this week, but you get my drift. You catch my point. This Bengals offense is bad right now. It's just, that is what it is. And Jamar afterwards, he said he wants to take more deep shots. And I think it's quite interesting. Last year, Burrow was getting sacked a ton, 70 times in 20 games. So think about that, 70 times in 20 games. He's been sacked 13 times in 2 games, which obviously is on pace for way more than 70. But they took deep shots even when he was getting sacked. They pushed the ball down the field, even when they couldn't protect. They did not try to push the ball down the field today. And whether that's because of the too high safety look that the Cowboys were given, okay, fine. Well, you got to get them out of that. How do you get them out of that? Jamar said it was simple. Hit Tyler Boyd and hit plays over the middle and run the ball. And so this coaching staff now certainly has to adjust. Has to adjust as the playmaking, what they're going to do from a playmaking standpoint, how they're going to not only call plays, and I know people are frustrated with Zach Taylor right now about the way he calls plays, and I'm going to rewatch and have more takeaways and things like that, much like I did last week. But overall, this team, it was going to not ride or die with their offense, but if they're going to reach their full potential, the offense is what's going to have to get them there. This defense is playing relatively well. They gave up some plays today, no doubt. They also made some plays. They forced that fumble and their first turnover of the year, and guess what? The offense didn't do anything with it. And so that's my big question going into next week against New York. Does this offense have a pulse? Or is it going to just be this painful sludge and just dragging tooth and nail every step of the way? It shouldn't be like that when you got Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase. It shouldn't be like that when you got Joe Burrow and Hayden Hurst. And Hayden Hurst had another good game today. So we'll see. But there's a lot of questions. The Bengals fall to 0-2. They're in last place in the AFC North after every team. Cleveland blew it. The Steelers lose to the Patriots. The Ravens blew it against Miami. Double-digit fourth-quarter leads for the Browns and Ravens. They blow it. The Bengals, the door opens up. The window flies open. They had their shot, and they blew it too today here at AT&T Stadium. Again, the final score, Cowboys 20, Bengals 17. We have a ton if you've missed it. Like I said, Jamar Chase, Sam Hubbard, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, Lel Collins, Tyler Boyd, all right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We're going to have a ton of reaction all week long. We'll have the Bengals on the Brain Show with Joe Goodberry on Tuesday, Elise Jesse's The OT on Thursday. So we got you covered. We can be your therapy, Bengals fans, because I don't think anybody had the Bengals starting 0-2. We're here for you. For Andrew Fox-Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapine, signing off for now at AT&T Stadium in Arlington.